Hello and welcome back to Asia Now. My name is Alex, and in today's video we're going to skip the news for a bit and jump into a topic that I think is going to be very informative for those of us considering coming to the Philippines. What are some common mistakes foreigners make in the Philippines? We'll read the question, read some answers. I'll tell you guys my personal thoughts. Here's the question. What common mistakes have you done trying to settle in the Philippines, like health and mental health wise? Someone says, I'm used to the slow-paced US driving, came here and every day is like the Demolition Derby, Indy 500 car race, or the chariot race in Ben-Hur. Someone else says, when you take a wrong turn, prepare for an extra 30 to 60 minutes of traffic. 1 mile equals 10 to 15 minutes driving. I haven't found good quality items compared to the US. Driving here is getting in where you fit in. No rules. Run stop signs, no lanes. Prepare for bikes, motorcycles, cars, pedestrians to suddenly jump out in front of you from nowhere. No sense of space. People walk towards you when they have all the world around them. Since I'm Asian, everyone assumes I speak Tagalog, which I don't. So many variations in pricing, for example, fruits. Hard to source organic items. Everything seems backwards. The build quality of our condo is laughable. As someone mentioned, nothing is square or level. I can go on and on, but then they'll just say, go back to the US, LOL. Let's start with the beginning. The first person talking about driving. The second person also sharing their thoughts regarding driving. Yes, places like Manila and Cebu, driving can be very, very frustrating. It's extremely slow. Getting places takes you a long time. If it's raining, there's traffic. If there's flooding, there's traffic. The lane infrastructure alone is not built for the population, I think. For the past 20, 30, 40, 50 years, I think the Philippines has seen a very, very steep incline in population growth. So all these factors, not to mention just like basic people, humans, just leads to frustrations every day. Do not take a wrong turn. It can be very dangerous. Everything the second person said regarding people and maybe stray dogs, pedestrians, there isn't too much like walking lanes. What's that called? Pedestrian lanes in many Philippines cities, right? So it's still a developing country and all these frustrations. 100% agree. I cannot disagree with anything he says. However, if you are aware of these things, maybe you can go ahead and try to schedule things away from rush hour. Then again, it's really difficult to find a time where there isn't traffic. So yeah, prepare for that. Driving can be a headache. Another person says, after 8 years, I'm still adjusting to how slow dealing with any governmental department can be. It takes a lot of effort to be as slow as they are. Seems like this person is frustrated with how slow the government process is regarding some things. For me personally, because I'm not married, I don't own land, I am just on a tourist visa. My tourist extension is very quick, so I can't really relate to this person. However, I have heard of government things taking a very long time. Then again, so they do the same thing in Canada, so I can't really compare unless I go through it personally. But I have heard that quite a bit, especially people that are married in the Philippines, saying that little things take a very long time to get accomplished. Please share your thoughts down below. Let me know if you had any experiences regarding governmental processes and if it takes a long time in the Philippines. Someone says adjusting and accepting what it is. But the northern part of the Philippines and many islands have smarter people. Way down south, not so much. Must be the upbringing and education. Just accepting what it is. Live and adapt. The US has a lot to offer, but here is more laid back and getting used to. Not available or in stock. Crazy drivers. Lack of respect. In many areas, not all. But still like here, away from the drama. Different type of drama here, and they can take a joke and have fun of themselves. And me. Not like the US where one has to walk on glass around many without offending them. Hard for us Marines to do. Some things I can't really comment on regarding education, the north and the south. I'm not very familiar traveling, but this is this person's experience. I have noticed a lot of times items are out of stock in many restaurants. That is one thing I too was frustrated. Well, one thing quickly, I want to say the question was about mistakes that foreigners make. So far, I haven't really read any mistakes people make. I think the general consensus is to not have some sort of expectation before you come here, because the Philippines might be very different from your home country. So let's go with that. These are some things that people have frustration with. Hopefully we can prepare a bit better for that if you've never been to the Philippines. Let's get back onto my thoughts regarding things being out of stock. I noticed that too. When I first came to Cebu, oftentimes I would ask for something on the menu, they'll say out of stock. And I wonder, why would something so common perhaps like be out of stock? Maybe Coca-Cola, for example, McDonald's, such a big company, will be out of stock. And then like a month later, I read in the newspaper how there was like a sugar cane shortage and all this stuff, so it started to make sense to me. Another time, for example, I'd want a certain type of fish, but it was out of season or whatever. And not just that, I'm not trying to like, defend the Filipino people, but sometimes there are reasonings that we don't really know about. It does frustrate me that they don't tell you sometimes. So sometimes sitting in a restaurant, I would order something. 20 minutes later, somebody would come to me and say, sorry, we're out of order, sir. I'm like, buddy, I sat here for 20 minutes. You could have told me that before. But that can just come down to individuals, teenagers being teenagers. I know I wouldn't want to work in a restaurant when I was a kid. Actually, I worked in restaurants all my life. And I can tell you right now, it is not easy being a server. If anybody has been a server, let me know some of your experiences. Anyways, so those things did frustrate me, but now I'm much more prepared. I have like options B, C, D, just in case things run out because of my own mental health. I don't want to get frustrated just because of a food item on a menu. Someone says the lack of exercise is just drinking and eating unhealthy food and the lifestyle that's very common in the Philippines. Okay, I want to kind of touch on this because I kind of fell into that as well. When I first came to the Philippines, I noticed things were significantly cheaper than back home in Canada. So I'd often find myself eating things that I wouldn't eat on such a consistent basis. For example, every single night, I'd have like a 2-liter Coke, chips, dried mangoes, yeah, my diet's like a 5-year-old. I know, but besides that, my point was I start like going out to a coffee or milkshake or milk tea or food here and food there because to me, it was so cheap. I wanted to try something and I constantly did that for like a long period of time and slowly I started to realize I'm putting on the weight and putting on some pounds. So it's very important that we as men or women, whoever you are coming to the Philippines, consider our physical health because sometimes you get in this like laid back lifestyle. You get to enjoy, like if you go to the islands and just sit there on the beach all day, you know, people bringing you food and to you it's like maybe not that expensive and that can become a very bad habit very quickly. So speaking for myself personally, even right now for the past month, I had to start going to the gym again because I got too carried away eating all delicious foods and whatnot. So keep that in mind, have like a proper plan, even if it's 10-15 minutes at home, just put out something on YouTube, home workout, just get your body moving. It's not even about being fit and healthy, it's for your heart, right? You wanna go ahead and exercise the biggest and most important muscle. I don't know if it's the biggest muscle, but the most important muscle in your body, I would say, is probably your heart. If your heart stops beating, you ain't no longer breathing, right? So keep that in mind, have some kind of routine. I know it sucks. Maybe go for a walk, go for a jog, join a yoga class, go for like this hiking groups and all that. It's actually a very good way to interact with locals as well. So you can go ahead and make some new friends, make some companionship, Anyway, so it might be a good way to meet the ladies as well, right? So get out there, explore, be healthy, why not, right? And start cooking at home. I'm gonna start doing that more often because, like I said, things are inexpensive compared to Canada, and oftentimes I find myself eating very unhealthy. So go ahead and keep that in mind. Let's just read one more before I tell you guys my overall thoughts. Someone says, one thing I noticed which drove me nuts is that not a single Filipino knows how to drive or back out in reverse. It takes them forever, and more often than not, they need someone to stand behind the car and verbally direct them when coming out of driveway or parking spot. I've seen folks stop traffic in busy street for 5 minutes to assist someone backing out of parking spots. Horrible driving with no police to patrol and enforce any traffic laws whatsoever. Countless intersections with no stop signs or stop light. Another person having a very difficult time trying to get over the traffic and the way people drive. I wouldn't say not a single person knows how to reverse or back out of a place, but probably enough for you to notice. I haven't noticed much. For me, I'm just usually stuck in traffic, but this is this person's experience. One thing I do want to mention though, one thing that kind of really frustrated me initially was the length that this traffic lights in Cebu, sometimes over 120 seconds, and me coming from Canada, 15 seconds to 30-second traffic light, that was really hard to adjust to, and I had to remind myself, okay, this is a new environment, this is a new place, do what you gotta do, play on your phone, you know, make sure you bring an umbrella if you're outside on the back of a motorbike, have some water. That's the other thing. So now let's go ahead and tell you my biggest mistakes when I came to the Philippines. For me personally, like 6 years ago now, almost 6 years ago, when I first came to the Philippines, I didn't really make too many big mistakes, but something I noticed was I was not prepared for the heat, for example. So I start sweating profusely, multiple 2 or 3 showers a day was something that I had to do to feel comfortable. I had to start carrying towel or something, cloth to wipe my sweat, for example. So that was a mistake I made. When I went outside, I wasn't very prepared. Make sure to drink water, please. Have some kind of umbrella or like cloth or something. I adapting my way of life just so I can be comfortable in the Philippines. For example, another thing, a big mistake I was making was drinking hot coffee in the middle of the afternoon, and because I never used to like drinking iced coffee that much, so now I've gotten used to that. So I drink iced coffee. It's wonderful. It's delicious. Less sugar. All that stuff. Another mistake I made would take things too personally. For example, when I would walk into like the shopping center and people would ask me to check my bag. So if you don't know, if you come to the Philippines, when you go inside most malls, they want to see inside your bag for security reasons. And I would take that personally, thinking, oh, why? Is it because I'm brown? You want to see if I'm carrying something? Like, that was so silly of me. And maybe it wasn't like a constant thought, but it crossed my mind for the first or second time going to the mall. Then soon eventually I realized this is the way everybody does it. And now I'm just smiling with my bag already open before they ask me, right? So these things are going to be there. So you can choose to either be upset about it, taking things personally, or go ahead and live and adapt to that situation, right? Because the thing is, every country is different, and your experience is going to depend on how you treat that place, your environment. Some people could come to the Philippines and think that it's the best place in the world. Some people could come and say it's the worst place in the world, right? That's the individual's perspective, their experiences. They might come here with some sort of expectations. For me, because I had no expectation, I think things have gone really well for me. I'm really happy, and I cannot wait to go back in a couple weeks. So, yeah, that's a whole different story. Leave your thoughts down below. Let me know what mistakes have you made coming to the Philippines. I would love to hear from you guys. If you enjoyed this video, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, share this with somebody that might also enjoy it, and I'll see you guys in our regular news stuff tomorrow. Bye.